All right, folks, we're moving on to section or chapter 12 here, and working on some different types of objects, kind of building off what we did in the last chapter. So, a lot of things we want to start with here, some definitions and concepts. First, we want to talk about what is a prism. And first, this group is a polyhedron, and this is not a polyhedron. So, think about those groups as you go through and you're asked that question. Okay, so the groups of polyhedrons, we start with a prism. Prism is a polyhedron with two parallel congruent faces called bases. So this right here, this object at the top and this one at the bottom, those are your bases connected with parallelogram faces. So here's a parallelogram, here's a parallelogram. Those are things that connect it. A pyramid is also a polyhedron that has a polygonal base. So you can see this is the base. In this case, I think it's a rectangle, and three or more triangular faces that meet at a common vertex. So the difference between a pyramid and prism, take a look at them. Pyramid comes to a point. The prism does not. This group down here is not a polyhedron. So we have a cylinder is a solid with congruent parallel circular bases connected by a curved surface. So these are your bases right here. A cone is a solid with a circular base. So here's your base down here, connected by a curved surface to a single vertex. So the difference between a cone and cylinder, take a look at those. Last one is a sphere, is a set of all points in space from the same distance from a given point. A sphere has no faces, edges, or vertices. This kind of sets you up with the same type of an idea. A face here, edges, and they're kind of, going through all these different types of things. So at the bottom, take a look at here how we name these. This one's called a triangular prism. So notice the difference between the prism and the pyramid. Pyramids, again, meet at a point. Okay? Then how are these names different? These names are different. Triangular prism, okay, this is a triangle. The other side, this is a triangle, triangular prism. Rectangular prism, okay, and now it's tougher on this one to determine which ones are the bases. This is a rectangle, the back is a rectangle. Pentagon, here you have a pentagon here and a pentagon here. Everything else is a rectangle. So this kind of separates the two. Pyramid, why is this called a triangular pyramid? Look at the bottom. That's the base. Rectangular pyramid, look at the bottom. Pentagonal pyramid, look at the bottom. So again, that's how we are going about naming these objects. Hopefully you're able to get a feel for that, look these over, and get an idea of what we're talking about here. Next, we're going to go over faces, edges, and vertices, and we will describe those a little bit and get you an idea of what we're taking a look at here. So this one right here, first they want us to determine whether the solid is a polyhedron. So in this case, yes. They want us to identify the solid, which means name it. This is a rectangular prism. So that's the name of it. And then the next thing we want to talk about is now when it says to name the bases, faces, edges, and vertices, what I've done is I want you to name one of them and then count how many there are total. So in this case, it's really tough to determine what is the base. What they're going to tell you here, because they're all rectangular shapes. So in this case, I would go with the top one, this one at the top here. So I would say for a base, we have E, F, H, and G. And with that in mind, there are two bases. So you would name the bottom one as well. You could name the bottom one. There are two total. Faces. Okay, the faces are also any of these, but it's also including the bases. So a face would be, this is called a face. So you could say G, H, D, C. And I could say the one above, but I wanted to give you a different one in there. And how many total? There's a front. This is 1, back is 2, right is 3, left is 4, top is 5, bottom there's a total of 6. 6 total faces. Next we want edges. So for edges, we're talking any of these lines. So here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So there's 12, and we can name one of them as EF, and there's a total of 12. And then the last one they want is vertices. Vertices. And vertices are your points. So we can just say point F and count all your letters. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Total of 8. So faces, edges, vertices. And this will walk you through all those specifically, kind of get you an idea what we're looking for. Again, I'm looking for you to name one of them and then give me a total. I don't want you to name all these. Same idea here. Is this a polyhedron? The answer is yes. And this is a hexagonal prism. Okay, why is it a hexagon? Because this base right here, those two bases are parallel, and they are a hexagonal shape, and it's a prism because it doesn't come to a point. So they want you to name the bases. So the base is KL, KLMNOP. That's a base, and there's two of them. Next thing we want to do is faces. Same concept here, and you could name LFGM. That is a face, and how many total are there? There are a total of 8. And again, there are 6 of these, and then the 2 at the end. Then we have edges. So again, count your lines. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 on this side, 6 on the other side, and then 6 down the middle. So we could name one of these EF, and there's a total of 18 faces, edges, and vertices. Now you count all your points. So you could say E, and there are a total of 12 faces, edges, and vertices. So again, you can just read through those, get all those answers, take a look at them, get that concept. Same idea here, see what you can get here. This one here is it a polyhedron? No, it is not. We would name this by a cone, and your base is circle T, no faces, no edges, and your one vertex is W. So that right there will give you all that information. Try the next group here on your own. See what you get. This one just says to identify it. There you can identify that. Identify this object here, cylinder. Identify this object here. Look at the base of it. That's a triangular prism. And then now we want to name it, identify it, name it, and then the bases, faces, edges, and vertices. So number 1, identify each solid. This is a rectangular prism. Is it a polyhedron? Yes. So the bases in this case, again, if you went with the top, G, F, C, B, there's 2 of those bases. Your faces are going to be, for example, F, E, D, C. How many total is that? You should have a total of 6. And we want edges. I'm running into the other problem here. Edges are your lines like FC. And how many total edges do you count? Hopefully you can count those. There are 12. And vertices, count your points. And one of them is F. And there is a total of 8. Total of 8. Okay, that's number 1. Man, I can't get this. There we go. So looking at number 2. Number 2 is a cylinder. Try to work a little bit over here. Cylinder. It is not a polyhedron. We are looking at your bases. Circle N, circle M. So 2 of those, and no on the rest. There's no faces, edges, or vertices. So the rest of those are no. Let's look at number 3 here. And don't follow that there. Number 3 is a triangular pyramid. That would be yes, polyhedron. We want to know the base in this case. The base is the triangle. Triangle ABD. Your faces here. And we could go with CBD, and there's a total of 4. Faces, how many edges? Edges, so CB is an example of an edge, and there's a total of 6. And vertices there's a total of 4. And C is an example of one of them. All right, last one here. Try to get some room. This one looks a little bit lengthier. So this is a triangular prism. This is a yes. Your bases are going to be triangle MNL. 2 of those again. Your faces here, we could go with JK, that looks like an I, and there is a total of 5. Go to edges, so MN, and there is a total of 9. And vertices, count just your letters, and there's a total of 6. Great job, folks.